Yep. Thanks for joining us on what's already been a busy Thursday, 1st of July, at least weather-wise. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi here in the 90s Weather Centers. We're going to take a look at the storms we've already seen, what we can expect, and also what some of these implications could have for the Denver areas we get later on through the afternoon into the early evening time frame. First things first, take a look at that in Boulder. As you're looking off towards the west and over the Flatirons, look at those storms developing. Those are the ones that have produced some flash flood warnings in and around the Cameron Peak burn scar, and also seeing some flash flood warnings a little further south of there along I-70 in through parts of the mountains. West of Denver around Idaho Springs, Clear Creek, and Gilpin County, seeing some of those warnings ongoing. Also seeing some of those to the east as well. This is the broad view. This is monsoonal moisture, kind of a classic monsoon setup. It is muggy outside. If you're joining us from Denver, that I-25 corridor. Boy, I mentioned this earlier on, kind of almost feels like Miami outside right now in Denver with those dew points in the low 60s. It is sticky, it is warm, it is a bit unusual for us. As I did mention, we've got some of those flash flood warnings not only to the west. We did expect a lot of those storms in the mountains and these slow-moving, kind of crawling storms, but also seeing some of those off to the east. Weld County, parts of Weld County at least, under a flash flood warning. That does include the I-76 corridor. You head west of Denver, also parts of I-70 under a flash flood warning, and then also into south central Larimer County. That is going to be for the Cameron Peak burn scar. That flash flood warning goes until at least 1:45 Mountain Time. So we do have those warnings continuing for much of the metro, and we're going to see that heavy rain continue for us as we head over the next couple of hours. These storms, the big kind of two things to take away from these storms. One, these are slow movers. What that means is our main threat almost exclusively today, it is going to be flash flooding. We do have a flash flood watch that does include much of the I-25 corridor for the remainder of your day today. Denver, two lines of storms, one to your east, one to your west. The question is, do we get those storms into Denver proper? The answer to me will most likely be yes, but we may even see some of these shower storms hang on into the evening time frame. So we're going to have that threat really for us till about maybe 10, 11 o'clock or so tonight, and then we'll start to finally see that activity wind on down, and then we may do it all over again as we get into your day tomorrow. But again, showers and storms for us today, low severe weather risk, so that's the good news. I don't think we're talking about large hail or damaging winds, anything like that, but what we are going to be looking for is that high potential for flash flooding. Look at some of these rainfall totals. This is one computer model, so don't take this to the bank or anything like that, but notice how Parker, 1.05 inches, then Bennett, what, 15 miles or so, 10 miles away from Parker, 1/100th of an inch of rain. This is going to be hit or miss today. So for the Denver metro area, this is a hit or miss situation. Some communities will not see anything or very little rainfall. Others, like maybe perhaps downtown, maybe the South Metro, and certainly probably a higher risk for the West Metro into the foothills. We do have that higher risk for heavy rainfall, perhaps an excessive half an inch. And by the way, those rainfall totals that you're seeing on your screen, most of that will likely come down in an hour or less. So again, we're talking about these torrential, almost tropical downpours coming on down. That's the thing to expect. And also, by the way, you may see some of these during the rush hour time frame. So 5, 6 o'clock, maybe seeing those storms right around then. And that's that double-edged sword, isn't it? We've got that need for rain, certainly in the western parts of Colorado. Unfortunately, today's rain is really going to kind of favor the eastern part of the state. That said, we've seen, you probably can't see it, but we have seen a slight bit of improvement on this drought monitor map, but it's by less than a percentage point. Long story short is the western part of the state remains in an extreme or exceptional drought, much of it I should say, and then eastern Colorado drought-free. And so today, the rich get richer, and unfortunately, the western part of the state, at least in terms of rainfall, the poor will get poorer. So we are going to be looking at, unfortunately, that kind of split pattern. We did get some meaningful rain, though, in western parts of Colorado earlier on this week, and hopefully maybe a few more shower storms next week into western parts of the state. Meantime, current temperatures looking a lot of 60s and 70s. We're not going to get a whole lot warmer than this just because we've already got the cloud cover in place. We're already seeing the storms fire on up. Highs may get up to about 80 in Denver. I'm not even sure we'll get to that. We'll probably need another couple hours of sunshine to get there, which is certainly not a guarantee at this point. 60s and 70s in the mountains where we've already seen those storms rumble the way on through. So here's a look at those shower storms. Tonight we get rid of those. Tomorrow, there you go. You can see those shower storms, but notice we're a bit more isolated tomorrow with those shower storms. Where you see a ridge of high pressure build on in from the west, that will start to lessen those rain chances and kind of put a little dent in those overall rain chances for us here along the Front Range, and certainly as you get into the mountains as well. But we will still have some of those scattered showers and storms around for your Friday, and that could perhaps linger into your 4th of July weekend. I'll show you that forecast for the 4th of July weekend in just a second. Meantime, tonight, showers and storms around 59 degrees for a low in Denver. I know we had a storm earlier on this morning, about 2-3 a.m. Got me out of bed about 2-3 a.m. Had a lightning strike right outside my bedroom window this morning. That was certainly something that got me out of bed, and temperatures dropping down tonight about 59 degrees. May see a storm overnight tonight. I do think that chance will be mostly kind of 10, 11 o'clock or so tonight. Probably a little lower of a risk for an overnight storm tonight than what we had last night. Winds south at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Forecast, we get into your day tomorrow. We do have that chance for a scattered shower or storm, but a lower chance tomorrow than today. Temperatures getting into the low to mid 80s, and we'll gradually decrease those shower and storm chances as we get into the weekend, and we will increase those temperatures as a result. Closer look in for your day tomorrow in terms of that shower or storm chance. It is still there. We still have that chance for a shower or storm, but as I mentioned, it's going to be lower and probably a bit more concentrated in the foothills. So you get west of Denver, you get up, again, your typical spots, 6,500, 7,000 feet or above. Evergreen, Bailey, Conifer, and places like that will have a higher chance for a storm. Downtown, again, it is a non-zero risk for us, but if you got an outdoor happy hour or something like that planned for your day tomorrow, you could probably leave that in place. Just have an indoor alternative, because we do have some of those popcorn showers and storms that could rumble the way down into the metro. Look at those highs for your day tomorrow. Low to mid 80s for us in Denver with that isolated to maybe scattered shower and storm chance. Again, it will favor the foothills more for your day tomorrow. Today, it's a bit more widespread. Temperatures low to mid 80s for us. All right, that 4th of July weekend, I know a lot of plans hovering around Mother Nature here. It looks like for the most part, knock on wood, Mother Nature's going to cooperate. We do get those temperatures on up into the upper 80s, about 9 degrees, with scattered showers and storms. But this weekend, let's kind of break it down this way. Today, it's an unusually high chance for showers and storms. It's pretty much a near lock for much of the metro area that we're going to see some of those showers and storms around. This weekend, it looks to be more of that typical pattern where we get a few showers and storms hit or miss. They could, and also this weekend storms will move a little quicker than what we're seeing with today's. So overall, things are looking a lot better for the weekend. And you know what? If I had to take it, if I had to gamble on it, I would take the forecast. I think most of us should stay dry for Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday looks a tad drier than Saturday as a ridge builds on in very, very gradually from the west. So there's that 4th of July forecast. Again, I think the Independence Day itself should be mainly dry for most of us. We will have, again, 1 or 2 storms around, probably more concentrated in the mountains and probably south of I-70 as well. But again, most of us should stay dry. Monday looks the driest day of the stretch and also the warmest. Highs around 90 for us on Monday. Then we'll cool back down and reintroduce a few more scattered shower storms for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then gradually build those temperatures back up as we get into next week. So that is an overall look at the forecast. I want to take a few of the questions that you might have here on Facebook. And by the way, if you're watching us live right now, just drop those down below and I'll try and get to as many of those questions as possible. Matt asking about a firm timeline when that metro rain begins. I would say probably for the metro, it should include that Kiowa, places kind of just on the outer fringes of the metro, have already seen some very heavy rainfall. Parts of Weld County, as well as down into parts of Elbert County, have already seen some pretty heavy rainfall and some pretty prolific storms already. So we've already seen some of it on the fringes of the metro. That said, I think, if we're talking downtown, we're talking about the immediate, Jeffco, Douglas, Arapahoe, Adams, Denver counties. Your threat will probably be kind of mainly between about 3 and 5 o'clock or so. That would be the rough timeline there. So I was mentioning this earlier on. I do think that rush hour could be impacted. And another thing that my colleague meteorologist Danielle Grant and I were looking at is that we could hold on to some of those showers and storms perhaps into the evening time frame. So 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight, yeah, it's just a bit unusual for us. We don't see that every day, that we see those showers and storms that late, but we could see that tonight. So keep that in mind as well. But that flood threat will be heightened really early to mid this afternoon. And this evening, I think tonight's rain will be kind of more plain rain for us along the I-25 corridor. So hopefully, Matt, that gives you a good idea there. I would say the main timeline would be between about 3 and 5 o'clock or so, maybe 3 and 6 for us in the metro. So that could impact those plans. Brandy asking about rain in Wheat Ridge at 5 p.m. today. I'd be a millionaire if I could tell you that with an 100% confidence factor, but I can tell you that there's probably going to be some storms around. That would be probably the kind of heart of that time frame when I think we could see some of those storms around Wheat Ridge, and the West Metro has that risk in place right around then. Elizabeth asking about Parker. I think Parker, again, 3 to 6, maybe a smidge earlier for you in Parker, as usually we'll see some of those storms develop there along the Palmer Divide and places just a little further south from downtown Denver. So maybe a little earlier for you, Elizabeth, maybe 3 to 5 or so for you, and hopefully that answers your question. And again, can't say 100%. We never know quite here in Colorado. I will say this, that a few of you may miss out entirely on those storms, just because today's threat looks to be very widespread in the mountains and the metro. It's going to be a bit more hit and miss. Where you get those storms, trust me, you'll know it is going to be just raining cats and dogs out there. It is going to be a torrential tropical downpour where you do get those, but not everyone's going to see those. So just, again, keep that in mind, hit or miss. If you've been to Florida, spent a lot of time in Florida, it's kind of one of those days, like you get those Florida downpours where for half an hour, 45 minutes, it's raining galoshes out there, and then 15 minutes later, boom, it's done, that kind of thing. Glenn, Susie asking about Fort Collins. You're going to be earlier, closer to about 2 to 4 p.m. for you, I think, in Fort Collins in terms of that threat for some of those showers and storms out your way. Leanne saying thank you for the updates and appreciate all of you, our fine viewers, for watching us here on 9 News Facebook as well as on 9 News Watch. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi. We'll have continued updates for you for the rest of your day here from the 9 News Weather Center.